Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the AEW Dynamite Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. What a show we have for you. As you can see right here, CM Punk goes against Lee Moriarty. CM Punk continuing his winning ways. Can he get over the independent darling Leo Moriarty? Another pickup win. Also, too, Cody Rhodes goes against Andrade in the Atlanta street fight. Cody Rhodes and Andrade intensified their rivalry even more. And even on top of that, when Cody gets the respect he the most deserved in Atlanta, is a whole heap of stuff, as well as Heyman Adam Page, the world champion, gets confronted again by number one contender Daniel Bryan. Bryan continues on pummeling Page after we learned that Daniel Bryan and Page will have their highly anticipated match at Winter is Coming special coming soon within 2 weeks. Could Daniel Bryan continue his momentum as being number one contender and taking down everyone of Heyman's friends? All this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show starts right after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Diggs here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show here for the AEW Ring Report. AEW Ring Report, as you see right here, is the Ring Report. But first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is king. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on Connect as we talk about the AEW Ring Report and many other AEW news. All right, we kick off the night with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan continued to prove a point. As you see right here, Daniel Bryan showing a tooth of who he went against. He went against none other than Dark Order member 23 and tried to bash his brains out. So Daniel Bryan trying to I'm gonna keep calling him Daniel Bryan because that's all I know. He's Bryan Danielson, but at the end of the day, he's still gonna be Daniel Bryan to me. So Daniel Bryan didn't waste no time here as he continued to pummel and continued to stomp away at Lee Angels. The Angels from Atlanta, as you can tell, we they had the AEW show in Atlanta, and Heyman Page was sitting in commentary, reserving, but he couldn't help but to see Page. Bryan confronted Page, and Bryan Page had a word of words. And we know Daniel Bryan told him, "Did you see that? Did you see right here? Did you see that?" I think Daniel Bryan doesn't care. I think he's being more of himself, and he's trying to be something he ain't. He's being himself, really, in more ways than one. And he's trying to send a message to Heyman Adam Page that he wants that world title any way he can. And if Daniel Bryan does win the world title, he'll be the second man to win the WWE and the AEW championship. The first man to do it. Well, no, he'll be the third man. He'll be third man. Because Jericho was the first to do it. Jericho won the WWE championship and well, he was dubbed the undisputed champion, and he won the AEW title as his first inaugural holder, as well as John Moxley won it and became WWE champion as well. So if Bryan wins it, he'll be the list of greats of winning the championship, winning the two main championships. You look at the WWE and the AEW championship as well as the Universal title. But Daniel Bryan never being Universal champion, but he tried to attempt to go for the Universal title at WrestleMania and get the job done. So Daniel Bryan looking to spot his territory to go after the AEW champion, Heyman Page, to do so. Page under his first reign under a couple of weeks. I would say it's okay. It was fitting for him to win it, but it's kind of like you kind of need a top star. Maybe they'll give it to CM Punk down the road. You know they. Speaking of Mr. CM Punk was in action himself. He went against Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty been one of those little independent stars that's been wrestling. So CM Punk wanted to prove himself and take his skills to the test with Lee Moriarty. And they had a phenomenal match as well. CM Punk taking to Lee. You see CM Punk doing those moves and stuff to Lee. And all of a sudden CM Punk won his match, but MJF was in commentary as well. And he decided to pay Punk a visit after Punk had delivered. But you see Liam Martin doing that move at the Punk. And they had that instant promo last week, what it was and stuff. It was instant. But CM Punk and MJF, you know it's gonna happen. I think it'll be saved for a pay-per-view. It'll be saved for Revolution in February. Early March, late February, early March for Revolution. That match gonna be good. But the word of words continue on growing strong and strong. CM Punk talking the mic as well as MJF talking the mic, trying to throw dabs at each other. But hey, at the end of the day, that's what they do, and it's entertaining. And you can tell from their journeys, like MJF journey starting from the Indies to MLW to now AEW. You know, it was. I just didn't get why Hammerstone and what's his name Holiday, why they didn't join with MJF. They could all went together. They could have been three big stars. That's what I would have done if I was running a wrestling promotion. I would have took all three of them. They all three got charisma. They all tall. MJF about my height in a way, but MJF has the mic. He has the mic. He has charisma. CM Punk as well, but this is really turning personal. They went from what said CM Punk said you went from a jealous fan to be this. It went super personal, and that means personal indeed. With CM Punk and MJF, you can tell this is gonna be rival, but continue those little insults and stuff. They're gonna continue down the road. Also, too, was in attendance was ATL rapper T-Pain. T-Pain was sitting in the audience in attendance watching AEW the show. Yes, Cody had to plug that since him and Cody are tied doing that show, the Go Big Show on TBS, and AEW Dynamite will be moving to TBS just starting next month in January. So a fresh start for AEW and a fresh start for Dynamite, but they'll still have somewhat an AEW special on TNT. Rampage will still be on TNT on Friday nights. AEW special with the Battle of the Belts. There'll be like a sword, like a Clash of a Champions type of a thing, but hey, they cross the turn of family in a way and stuff. Also, too, Warlow, MJF's bodyguard, he didn't waste no time. Warlow, like JR like to say, he's gonna be a big white meat babyface. Warlow destroying people on his site. And you can tell Warlow down the road, that's gonna be the next feud. Warlow down against CM Punk. Not one Warlow, not CM Punk, but Warlow against MJF. You can tell it's gonna happen. Sean Spears gonna try to resolve it, but ain't nothing he can do about it. Warlow gonna step on his own and swim out the fishes. Also, too, Sting, the man they call Sting, had his match in Atlanta in nearly 14 years. They probably talking about him in WCW. In WCW, he was a staple in WCW, as well as a staple in Impact Wrestling team name when they was called. I think they're talking about when Sting defeated Kurt Angle for the world title at Impact and stuff. Sting went against the Gun Club, him and Darby Allin. Sting with his new Darby Allin face paint. Sting took on Billy Gunn and his sons. And you see Darby Allin Darby Allin is a breakout star, if you ask me. He launched himself onto Billy Gunn's sons, leaving them out. Billy Gunn tried to take care of him, but at the end, Sting and Darby picked up the win. Sting and Darby are from a normal team. I don't know why they're not going for the tag team titles. I know the Lucha Brothers have the tag team titles, and I get it, but you know how they go. Also, too, another confrontations as well, as Adam Cole tried to get his flowers and stuff with the Adam Cole baby and stuff. So Adam Cole came out there and did his thing, and he gets confronted by Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy gets set up by Adam Cole and the Young Bucks doing their kicks and stuff. And I mean, we get it, but Jim Cornette's gonna have a heap to say this week on this podcast. If you listen to it, he doesn't like the Young Bucks. He doesn't like Adam. He did like Adam Cole, but he don't like Adam Cole associating himself with the Young Bucks. And he don't like Orange Cassidy. Keep calling Orange Cassidy pockets. You know how they go. Also, too, was women action as well as the TBS title tournament continues. It's Chris Stanline takes on Ruby Solo. I like when Taz say Ruby Solo and just sings it. Ruby, 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 Ruby Solo. There's the nation. Oh. Yeah. Taz like to sing that Ruby Solo song. Okay. But Ruby Solo does get the win, and she moves on to the TBS Championship Finals. So who would Ruby Solo meet? We don't know. Probably Jay Cargill or Thunder Rose. One of the two. But that should be an interesting match on the kickoff for the TBS Women's title. I get it's the TBS Women's title, a secondary women's title, but you really don't have nobody for your main women's title, which I would kind of think is focus on your main. I think what they should have done was create a tag team women's title and be done with it. I mean, I'm not knocking the TBS championship, but I think the women's championship is enough depth in the roster for you to have more. You got to have more, not less. I mean, and then you got to have different programs. They could have just worked on the women's tag team titles or something rather than a secondary women's championship. That would be down the road if you got more women and stuff. You had like a roster full of 14 women, then do it. AEW do, but then I'm kind of like, I'm kind of skeptical on that. They could have just did a women's tag team titles and left like that. That's what I would have done, but to each his own. Like I said, Adam Cole with, like you see, Orange Cassidy getting kicked in the face. A lot of heated rivalries as well. And speaking of rivalries, we ended with this. Also too, this ties in as Malachi Black and Pac. They're gonna be fighting next. Ooh, they doing all of it tonight. So a lot of stuff going on with that. Also, too, Cody Rhodes, the main event. Cody Rhodes take on Andrade one-on-one. Andrade versus Cody Rhodes. Phenomenal match. Match did kicked off with a bang as Cody decided to bring out a golden a sledgehammer, and then he brought a golden shuffle. I guess referencing the Triple H. I mean, this coming like the reference Triple H. I guess Triple H rubbed these folks the wrong way. Man, the man just had nearly a heart attack, and y'all want to get not let him focus on wrestling too much and stuff. Well, it does. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with that, but Cody and Brandon came out there and set up the table. I guess this was like a la WrestleMania in Chicago, if you can recall, when Lita set up the table for Edge with the flaming table. And I guess Brandon decided to be like a ring attendant. And she just Cola just did that move on the flaming table. I guess Cola said, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go back, you know what, crazy. And Cola did went back crazy, and he had this on his back and stuff, the effects and stuff. So Cody showing what the had happened. Cody Rhodes run the match over Andrade. It was really fast and furious. Andrade had it in the beginning. Andrade couldn't get it done and stuff. So a lot of people, like I said about Andrade, even Andrade assistant came out there trying to help, but Arn Anderson got beat up by his assistant. And his assistant decided that I guess he was a wrestler too. I like, okay, everybody want to. Cody won his match. Cody and Mars victorious amongst this match. So big up to Cody taking that huge risk, but it paid off a long way. All right, that ends the AEW Hot Topics Ring Report. Let's move over. Let's move over quickly to Hot Topics. As we talk about too, we've been hearing reports that the Young Bucks are now the number one tag team due to PW Insider. The Young Bucks, congratulations, winning the second annual tag team. The Young Bucks made the list once again. So the Young Bucks doing the thing and doing the thing well. Well as this, the Lucha Brothers, who made the list, Lucha Brothers, and the invite from WWE is just only the Usos. So the Usos number 4, the current SmackDown Tag Team Champions. That's where the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Lucha Brothers, number 2. And they made the list. The Young Bucks, former AEW Tag Team Champions, number 1. Those spots and stuff. They got to work on them spots and stuff like that. So you know how that go and stuff. Also, too, was attendance Jonathan Gresham, who's supposed to set to be in the Ring of Honor World Championship. He might be following suit like his friend Jay Lethal. You don't see Jay Lethal that often now. He had his little moment now, Jay Lethal. But that's good for Jay Lethal. He found something he wanted to do. Jay Lethal kind of like this. Be like, I'm gonna stick around for a minute, and then when things don't get too well for me, when things about to come to a close, and I'm jumping ship somewhere else. I ain't finna waste my time or word. Yeah. So you know how that goes. So Jay Lethal found him home, and he probably told his buddy Johnny Gresham, "Hey, come along with us." And so that's what they did, Johnny Gresham and Jay Lethal. But AEW, you got to be smart too. You can't hire everybody. Stuff. But now, a third wrestling company need to be made. If I had the money and the resources, I'd make it. Take all them Ring of Honor talents. I want the Young Bucks, and I tell you who I get. I say I'm gonna get the Young Bucks. I'm gonna get Shane Taylor Promotions. I can get Khan. I can get Moses. Get Shane Taylor. That group. EC3, Quinn McKay, Rich Enibani, Caprice Coleman. I'll just take the whole Ring on that dude. I forgot that dude's name. Josh Woods. There's a lot of people I'd take. So I'll take Gresham too. So hey, Gresham might be one with his wife, but you don't know. With Jordan Grace, you never know. All right. That is the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Ring Report. So we had a phenomenal ride. So thank you all for watching this edition. And we hope to see you. And also, too, we'll be for the SmackDown Ring Report this Friday, and as well as the NXT Ring Report for NXT War Games. So, hey, we'll see you this week for the Pro Wrestling Show this weekend. See you later.